conservative
No,
tax
no,
cuts.
no, I thought it's big. I'll accept it. Go ahead. Let's begin.
All right. Let's face it, our justice system has become a hamster wheel. We lock people up, let them out, and watch them come right back again, round and round, with no real progress, just insurmountable costs. It's a cycle that we've tolerated for decades, but it doesn't have to be that way. What if I told you that there's a bona fide way to break that cycle and get off the wheel? A way that reduces crime, builds safer, more productive communities, and saves taxpayers millions of dollars in the process. That solution is simple: increasing access and funding to college education for incarcerated individuals. Now, I understand your hesitation. Some people may ask, why should someone who broke the law get a free education when others can barely afford college? Or, a big one, why should my tax dollars go towards their education when I'm struggling to pay my own child's tuition? And these are fair questions. But this isn't about rewarding bad behavior. It's about breaking the cycle and saving taxpayer dollars while doing it. This method actually frees up money that could just as easily help your child or someone else's afford college too. We spend $80 billion every year on prisons and jail in this country, according to the Prison Policy Initiative. And that figure doesn't even include the private for-profit prisons. The Bureau of Justice Statistics reports that the average cost of locking someone up in 2023 was roughly $45,000, but not here in California. Here in California, it's way more costly. Here, the state now spends north of $130,000 per inmate per year. These figures come straight from the California Department of Finance and the Legislative Analyst's Office, a figure that has almost doubled over the past decade. And speaking of double, just for context, that yearly cost of incarceration is more than double the cost of tuition at private institutions like Harvard or Stanford. But by contrast, offering college and prison costs an average of only $4,200 annually in California. And this isn't a cost reduction, it's a smarter allocation of public funds. A recent report by the RAND Corporation found that for every $1 investment in prison education programs, there's a $4 to $5 reduction in incarceration costs. How, you ask? Because people who get an education while in prison are far less likely to end up back there. Recidivism is defined as the tendency of a convicted criminal to reoffend, and it's also the culprit that keeps the proverbial hamster wheel spinning. In the United States, 2 out of every 3 people released from prison are rearrested within 3 years, according to the Department of Justice study. This isn't only a reflection of personal failure, it's about a system that sets people up to fail. But an education can change that. RAND found that an education received while in prison reduces recidivism by 43%. And that's no statistical anomaly. That's slashing the previous rate by nearly half. Now, as part of the California State University system, Project Rebound supports formerly incarcerated students at almost every campus in the CSU system as they navigate the deep, murky waters of the college experience. Since its expansion in 2016, students have averaged a GPA of 3.0, and the program boasts a less than 1% recidivism rate. Less than 1% compared with the 66% national average from the DOJ study is the difference between night and day. But Project Rebound isn't stopping there, because 87% of Project Rebound graduates land full-time jobs or move on to graduate school. And that's not simply turning things around, it's a testament to the transformative power of education, even for someone with a felony record. That reduction in recidivism doesn't just help individuals, it builds up and strengthens whole communities. Clint Smith, a Harvard educator involved in the Massachusetts prison system, said that the benefits of a prison education go far beyond lowering recidivism rates and increasing post-release employment. It can also rekindle a sense of purpose and confidence. And he's right. These people are our neighbors, our friends, our aunts, our uncles. They're the faces at the grocery store. And when they return home with an education and a plan, they're far more likely to become contributing members of society. Again, according to the Prison Policy Initiative, education is one of the strongest indicators of success post-incarceration, the butterfly effect of which is tremendous. The Center for American Progress confirms that it contributes to stronger families, less crime, and healthier neighborhoods. People leaving prison with an education get jobs, build stability, and support their kids. And because their parents now have an education, those same children are more likely to stay in school themselves. And their families are more likely to stay together rather than be torn apart by the cycle of incarceration. When we invest in education, we're investing in the health and growth of our communities, not just for today, but for generations to come. Now, let's talk about the pink elephant in the room. Again, why should we pay for their college? They're criminals. The fact of the matter is that we're already paying. We're paying for the wrong things that aren't helping. We pay to lock people up. We pay to build more prisons. We pay for an overloaded court system, emergency health care in prisons, foster care for the children whose parents are locked up, and transitional housing for people with nowhere to go and no prospects to get there. That all adds up economically and socially. And what do we get for it? A system that fails almost 70% of the time. Compare that to someone who receives post-secondary education in prison. They approach reentry ready to work, ready to support their families, and drumroll please, ready to pay taxes. They've successfully transitioned from a burden on society to a contributing member. That's not a handout. This is called an investment. Here's the bottom line. California spends $132,000 a year to incarcerate someone. College and prison cost more than just a few thousand, while its savings are tenfold. Programs like Project Rebound have already been able to prove that this is not just a theory, but we need more funding for groups like them, both inside and outside the walls. We've wasted billions on punishment alone, and it's futile. It's high time we stop throwing money at the problem of a broken system and start investing in safer neighborhoods, stronger family units, and fewer repeat offenses. Because those are the unquestionable results that a college education can provide. Let's put our tax dollars to work to ensure that every prisoner in California has access to a college education. It's time we stop spinning in circles and moving forward. Off the hamster wheel and onto a real path forward, one that leads to stability, opportunity, and a safer, more prosperous California for all. Let's be smart and spend a little now to save a whole hell of a lot later. Let's put our taxpayer dollars to work and build a justice system that actually delivers justice, blooming with the hope, stability, and confidence a college education brings. Let's quit funding incarceration and start investing in education. Together, we can end recidivism today. Thank you.
Thank you very much.